We live in modern times. Though every generation calls itself more modern than the previous one, the remarkable aspect about this phase of modernity is democratization of information. More than 99% of information ever published is available on the internet. Even the classified ones are available on conspiracy theory sites and dark web, the black market of the internet. But not everything is hunky-dory. Every solution comes up with a problem imbibed into its structure. The solution of less access to information also came with a problem of its own. Freely available information has created a problem called misinformation. Though it is named as misinformation, the drawback is that of fake narrative attached with the particular piece of information. News portals keep parroting headlines according to a preset propaganda. After a week or two of watching a news portal, the audience develops a particular type of bias. These biases are then given fodder by the latest sets of information to reinforce the narrative in the conscience. Something similar is being done by media portals who do not want to see India and Russia on the same side of the aisle. Hi and welcome to TFIPost. I'm your host Apurva. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. And if you're watching us on Facebook, do like, share and subscribe to the page. Let's begin with the video report. No matter how sham liberal world order is, to vote is the foremost responsibility of an individual as well as the country's. That is why even at a forum like the UNGA, voting matters. In 2022, the process has gained more significance as Russia is trying to revive its USSR legacy on the global stage. Apparently, Russia's anxiety about the USSR has helped India occupy a center stage in the conflict. Recently, the Ukraine lobby at the United Nations decided to ditch the United Nations Security Council in favor of the United Nations General Assembly, that is the UNGA. The West has gotten fed up with Russia vetoing every single one of its resolutions at the UNSC. They believe that a 15-member club is not enough to get support against Putin. Even there, they could not always get big Eastern powers like India and China on board. So they went to the UNGA, which is a much larger club with 193 members. The pro-Zelensky lobby is particularly furious about the people of Donetsk, Kherson and Luhansk voting in favor of living under the Putin administration. But for the West, Putin is the evilest of all the evils. Nothing else explains their non-acceptance of the results of the referendum despite the fact that international observers were dispatched to oversee that a free and fair election was held there. Now, Western countries want the UNGA to condemn the so-called referendums and attempted illegal annexation. These are the words of the West. The vote on the proposal for condemnation is to take place later this week. But Russia had some reservations about it. Russia wanted the voting procedure to take place through a secret ballot. The possible explanation behind the Russia's demand is that they fear that this time India and China might also vote against it, as the issue involves the territorial integrity and sovereignty of countries. But Albania, a tiny country located in southeastern Europe, opposed it. It moved a motion that the matter should be decided by an open recorded vote. Soon the proposal was put to voting. Unsurprisingly, the results of the motion against open voting were also available for everyone to see. Only 13 countries voted in favor of keeping the UNGA voting process secret, while 39 abstained from voting. Russia and China were the ones leading the abstention bloc. However, 107 countries voted in favor of Albania's proposal against Russia. India was also the one that favored maintaining transparency in the voting process. India was the only country in all the important BRICS grouping that went against Russia in this regard. China, Russia and South Africa not being exactly on the same side as India has probably prompted the explosive media headlines. If you run a Google search regarding the voting, headlines of Indian news portals will tell you that India is against Russia. The Mint's headline was India goes against Russia at the UNGA. Similarly, Hindustan Times also used the phrase India votes against Russia. Indian Express also used the cliché line votes against Russia in its headlines. Other portals like Beyond and India Today used catchphrases like India votes to reject Russia's demand. Through these headlines, one could easily get deceived, as they went on to claim that finally India has decided to side with the Western Bloc. They have done it before as well. In August, when Ukrainian President Zelensky wanted to speak at the UNSC, Russia had objected to it. Russia's objection has led to a vote on the issue. At that time, India had decided to vote in favor of free and untrammeled speech. Even that was projected as India drifting towards the Western Bloc. However, the fact of the matter was that it was just a procedural vote and had nothing to do with the India-Russia bond. Nothing has changed in the last 1.5 months. What happened at the UNGA was again a procedural issue. Russia wanted a secret voting for which they can't be blamed either, since Russians are already suffering due to extreme negative propaganda by the liberal media. They do not want their stature to get further dented. On the other hand, India has been a champion of free speech and democracy. Transparency has been at the core of PM Modi's tenure as the Prime Minister. Obviously, the world was looking towards us with hope. We kept becoming a shining light for them by voting for transparency. Incidentally, Russia has not expressed any concern with India's action at the UNGA either. It has its reasons for doing so. Even when the whole world was busy cornering India, a foreign policy establishment made India proud by adhering to its stance on Russia. Even after the referendum, India has indicated that it won't be leaving Russia. The proof of the pudding lies in External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's recent rebuttal to journalists regarding India-Russia long-term partnership. Addressing a joint press meet in Canberra with his Australian counterpart, Honorable Penny Wong, Jaishankar had expressed gratitude towards Russia for standing beside India when America was supporting Pakistan. Moreover, when he was quizzed about India's position on the upcoming UNGA proposal against Russia, Jaishankar had refused to give them any hint. Hinting that India will decide at the 11th hour, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said, and I quote, "Nobody puts their decision to vote out in front. You take the call when you have to. A large part of the world today is hurting because of this conflict, because their lives are impacted in a very damaging manner." No one knows which route India will take. For the first time, news portals have to deal with this kind of butterfly in their stomach. Up until a few years ago, they used to get clear signals from their sources stationed in embassies. If they failed, the media used to look at the vote bank of the party in power and knew that domestic politics would drive Indian geopolitical interests. Things have changed now. Neither the vote bank nor the ideology and not even religious inclination drives our foreign policy. But one aspect can predict it, and that is the welfare of Indians living in India and abroad. Time has come for the media to look beyond embassies and ideologies and take a clue from what the people of the country want from the government.